One thing to check is your gauge hoses. This bottom one from your gauge goes to the meter housing, and the top one of the gauge goes to the tank, which we'll show you later. But this bottom one is plugged coming from the gauge. And it's good to blow them out, but take it off of the gauge and blow this way. Never blow towards the gauge. It's just all plugged in there. You'll have to put some air pressure to it from the gauge this way. And then where this plugs in is the nipple right on the end of the meter housing. You can see that that's all plugged. You have to dig something in there like an O-ring pick or a small screwdriver, and then put some air pressure to that and clean that out. And this is the hose coming off of the top of the gauge going to the tank. And you pull these here off, and you can pull it off the top of the gauge and blow this direction. And make sure that this nipple here is clean and this hose here is cleaned out. If they're not cleaned out, then your gauges won't read correctly. Next thing to check is your pressurization hoses. These 1-inch pressurization hoses that put pressure to the tank. Take this here manifold loose. There's 3 bolts on the bottom side and this hose on the front. Pull that out, and you can see the nipple on the pressurization nipple. That's all completely plugged. This manifold here is completely plugged also. So the only way that this tank was getting pressure is probably from the other side going up to the tank. This one here is completely plugged. So clean them out, dig all this out, and blow out the pressurization hoses. There should be one on each side of every meter. Dumped it all out, but there's a bunch of dirt inside that hose. There it comes. I can get all plugged up. Next thing is to pull your meter out and clean all your meter housing up, but lift these inserts up. You might have to get a screwdriver in there and pry it up. Dig these here inserts out, and then you can tell if not you're plugged or not inside there. And then you make sure that your slides are free. This is the area where you can get in there with air hose and blow all your slides out. Keep moving them back and forth and keep blowing them out so you get all that free. Inside there is where all that debris gets, and it gets all caked up inside there after you pull your inserts out. This one here doesn't even pull out, so we've got to get in there with a blowgun and blow things out, and if that doesn't free up, then we got to drop the whole assembly down and work on just the slides, and that gets very intensive. But that one doesn't even pull out. Then clean out that half-width disconnect door. That one there doesn't go up all the way. Get in there. That's the half-width disconnect doors that you can shut the product off to your meter, pull your meter out, and shove a different meter in there if you got the wrong meter when you're seeding. And then open your doors back up again to bring the product down to your meter housing. And you got to clean those out, blow up inside this here cavities, or get up inside the tank and blow down from the tank side. And if you clean out inside of the meter housing, you can tell if there's any seals for your half-width disconnect doors that are have come out or not in place. And that you'll have to drop the meter housing down to fix that. And that's that seal to block off the product from your meter so that you can change meters in there with a full tank. And then next thing is to make sure you have your primary openings cleaned out. They can be a lot of debris down in the bottom, and it'll if there's any obstruction in there, that will cause your seeder to drop seed out your openers without the fan even going or moving in the field. So if you have that problem, there's debris in any one of these here primary manifolds.